Hey folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for Vaughan and Richmond Hill for week ending May 5th. Have things calmed down in the Vaughan and Richmond Hill market? Well, you tell me. I'm going to show you some numbers and I'll explain to you why I think things have calmed down a little bit. I have here detached only right now for Vaughan for week ending May 5th. We sold 66 detached homes in Vaughan last week, up slightly from the week before, and it's been up now for 3 weeks in a row, but we're still far off from the 80s and 90s as far as our stronger weeks of selling detached houses. So we only sold 66 last week. 12 of those sold at $2 million or more, and the average sold price is $1,656,000. I got to tell you something. In this average sold price, what's not calculated are two sales, two properties. One of them sold for 17 million. I was going to say 1 million. Two properties were sold. One was at 17.4 million. The other for almost 11.4 million. It's out of the normal realm of luxury homes being sold in Vaughan. If I calculated average sold price with these two properties, average sold price would be over $2 million. $2,060,000, I believe the average sold price was. And I just didn't have it in me to put the average sold price is $2 million, because I know the following week it's coming right back down to kind of where we were here. It's rare when we have back-to-back two of them this high, so I didn't include them in average sold price, and average sold price still went up from the previous week. And when we look at $1,656,000, it's kind of in line to where it's been. It seems like a decent average as far as where it's been most of the year so far. Now, we're up quite a bit from where we were November, December last year, but it seems almost, if we average the year out, 1,650,000 kind of seems about the average for the year so far. Compared to last year at the same time, well, we can't. So be careful about the headlines out there telling you that, wow, we're up 33% from last year. Doesn't make any sense comparing it to this time last year. I still put the chart out. Maybe I should stop even using this chart for a while, but you know, I do have it out, but I'm not really comparing it. Looking at sales, I'm not comparing the sales to last year. The blue is last year's sales at this time. But this year, the 66 that sold, 50% sold at list price or more. That's what I want to zero in on. The previous week was 75%, then 55%. We've been up into the 70% a few weeks now, going back. Well, at 50% versus the previous week of 75%, you're going to notice fewer buyers for this week anyways at the offer table. You're going to notice that you can take your time a little bit with some of the properties. You don't have to quickly overpay right away. That's a significant difference from 75 selling at list price or more the previous week to 50% selling at list price or more. You're going to feel that. Fewer buyers at the offer table. Looking at listings, down slightly to 117 listings. There's only 316 detached properties available for sale at this week ending in Vaughan, and months of inventory is now sitting at 1.1 months of inventory. So just over 1 month of inventory. The fact that months of inventory has come down kind of helps understand why average sold price is up. Richmond Hill. 53 detached properties in Richmond Hill were sold last week. Now 15 were sold at $2 million, more than double from the previous week, and you know, average sold price is now sitting at $1,857,000 for the average detached property in Richmond Hill. You know, 7 at $2 million or more, jumping up to 15 at $2 million or more is a big reason why average sold price from one week to the next is so much higher. And at 1,857,000, that's well above where the average kind of has been for the last couple of months. And it has, average sold price has kind of plateaued for the last couple of months, but 1,857 is much higher than what the average has been lately. Compared to last year, hey, we're so much ahead of where we were last year's average sold price. It's no surprise to anybody. Let's not talk about that. When it comes to sales, of the 53 that were sold, 47% sold at list price or more. The previous week was 81%, and the week before that was 42%. Isn't it? It's interesting to me anyways. I don't know how interesting it is to you, but this is kind of like very, very similar to what's going on in Vaughan, where we had kind of high the previous week, the amount of property selling at list price or more, and for last week, for both regions, it dropped down quite a bit, and you're going to feel that number. If you were in the market on this week trying to buy, you're getting beat up at the offer table. The following week, you felt a big difference if you didn't buy during this week, and if you're in the market last week, you felt the difference. You kind of saw where you're competing with 10, 15 offers, and now you're competing with maybe 2 or 3 offers or none. We've seen a lot of properties going on the market where they have an offer date scheduled and it doesn't sell, and then they relist it at a more traditional price where you could negotiate down. So it's just not automatic. For all those realtors watching this video, know the numbers, know the neighborhood. It's not automatic that you price it low and get so much more on offer date. It might not work, and we're seeing more and more of those offer nights not actually working out. So keep an eye on the neighborhood, whether it's still happening there quite a bit. When we look at listings, we listed a little bit more. There's 109 detached properties listed last week in Richmond Hill, and months of inventory is down to 1.5. And 1.5 is actually a bit lower than what it's been over the last 4 weeks. And 1.5 really helps to explain why average sold price has gone up. That's a detached for Vaughan and Richmond Hill. Let's talk about condos now. We sold only 15 condos in all of Vaughan last week, which is surprising. 15 is low, and it's half of where we should be when we're having a good week. So it's, it's pretty mediocre there, 15 condos being sold. Average sold price came down to 647. Now 647 seems to be about the average over the last couple of months. It's kind of in line. The previous week was much higher at 721. We're not comparing it to last year, although I have the chart here. And of the 15, half of those sold at list price or more, and that's down from 57% and down from the previous week of 62% selling at list price or more. But you're not going to really notice that difference if you're in the field. If you're in the field looking to buy, or you're a seller of your condo, there's not a real difference over the last couple of weeks. Very gradual. 39 new listings went out last week. There's a total of only 90 condos available for sale, and months of inventory went up a little bit to 1.4 months of inventory. So in some of the other examples where we see months of inventory come down, price goes up. This is doing the opposite. Months of inventory goes up, average sold price comes down. That's a typical behavior of the relationship between price and months of inventory. Richmond Hill, 17 condos were sold last week. Average sold price is way up there at $653,000, and if you kind of step back, well, average sold price for some of the other home types, for most of the other home types, I've been saying, the last couple of months has been pretty steady. Not condos in Richmond Hill. This price seems to be going up, up, and away. Compared to last year, we are not comparing to last year. Of the 17, 65% sold at list price or more. 29 were listed. There's only a total of 49 condos available for sale in Richmond Hill for this week ending, May 5th, and months of inventory is down to 0.7. So there's maybe about 3 weeks of inventory left. If we, basically what it means is if we buy at the same rate that we were buying for week ending May 5th, we're going to be sold out of all condos in Richmond Hill in 3 weeks. So that's where you kind of get the feeling for how much pressure there is. And when there's fewer available, kind of forces price up. So 0.7, 0.8, 0.6, 0.3, these are crazy low numbers when it comes to months of inventory. And if we look at the 4 property types for Vaughan, Richmond Hill detached, Vaughan and Richmond Hill condos, 1, 2, and 3 of these home types are down as far as months of inventory. It went lower. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. If months of inventory goes down, prices will tend to go up. So when I look at this, I can think, I'm expecting prices to kind of go up over the next week or so. But that's about as far as I can predict. It's people asking me all the time, and sometimes in the comments below, where do you see prices at the end of the year? I have no idea. I wish I could tell you, but there's so many unknowns. Sorry that I'm not like CMHC, that if you heard last week, they announced they've predicted prices into 2023. I don't know how anybody could do this. So be careful where you're getting your news. I talked more a little bit about that in my previous video. But when I see this, market is tight. In some areas it's plateaued. In other areas it's going up. There's no real drastic changes, but it is still very much a seller's market. It's so important you're working with a good realtor. I know I keep saying that. Find a realtor that you feel good about. I am a full-time realtor. You see how I segued into that? If I could help you with anything, my name is Santo Sessa with Remax Premier. Happy to help in any of your real estate needs. Have a great day and stay safe.